In fact, there's a couple of amendments in there that they're looking at suspending, including their own state constitution. And of course, it's, thank you very much, and here's a copy of something they should all read the Constitution. But of course, it will be for our own good because, somebody sneezed. It'll be the flu. Give me liberty or give me death did not mean give me death panels to convince me to. It did not mean buy up General Motors, AIG, Citibank, and all the others. It didn't mean take over the financial sector, the automobile sector, the healthcare industry, the banking industry. It didn't mean any of that. No. And to give you an idea of just how incredible this is, they think that they can make decisions, personal decisions for us in our lives. And the further away from Washington you get, the more obscene that is. Cash for clunkers comes to mind. You probably heard today that the dealers are all getting stiff, right? Well, they can't even give money away. Think about this. How simple is this? You want $4,500 here? Here's $4,500. How hard is it to give money away? They can't give it away, even though it's fake. They can't even give away fake money. I mean, think about it. And that cash for clunkers, the Japanese are going to send us a nice thank you note on Pretty Stationery. And the Koreans too, because Hyundai was like 50% up in sales. Yes, of all the car companies, all except two showed significant increases in sales. And guess which two did not? The Obama Motors dealers, right? I mean, the guy can't even sell a used car or a new car. What we're doing here, though, you'll see, and you've heard all the rap from some of the media. You're a monster, strange, or whatever you are. I'm a monster, and I'm not, I guess. But what you see here is what we've been experiencing everywhere, and what we expect to see more. This isn't an angry protest. This is a celebration. America's kind of like church. You believe, but every once in a while you need to go back and get jazzed up again. And that's what's happening here. We're seeing families holding picnics. We rolled into a couple of towns where they were having like mini county fairs going on at the time we got there. The one in Sacramento went on for 3 hours after we left. And just kept going on and on and on, and we're seeing that everywhere. This is a celebration of our nation, of our heritage, of our legacy, and if I might borrow from the NRA, they will take my country and my rights when they pry it from my cold dead. The whole point of the Tea Party Express, and you remember back earlier this year, we had Rick Santelli on one of the cable networks went into the rant, and that sparked a few rallies around the country back in February. I was at the first one in Sacramento. We had 150, maybe 200 people. Then every kind of caught on, and this was all guerrilla, all underground, Facebook, Twitter, emailing, people calling each other. Just, people, and you'll meet one of the woman who came up with the whole idea in the first place. She's with us along here, she'll be able to speak in a bit, but by April 15th, when we all kind of contacted each other informally and had this bizarre headless, movement going, I had 15,000 people check in my round. In fact, on that day, there were, you'll get the numbers from maybe in a little bit, but there were a lot of people around the country outside it. And what we're doing is we decided we didn't want this to fizzle because, we're as frustrated as you are, only I'm lucky because I've got the access to national microphones and Fox News and the stuff that I do, so I don't have to cough up an internal organ. And otherwise, I've been coughing up my spleen every time I watch the news, And I know what that feels like. So we came up with the idea of let's put this together and let's try to herd all these cats and all these words and all this passion into something that will produce something more than heating a bunch of people on TV holding up signs. So, together with Glenn Beck and the Freedom Works and a whole bunch of Is that all it takes to get applause? I'm going to try that everywhere. So the idea was, let's get everybody more or less on the same page and speak with one big voice in Washington on the And along the way, hold other events. We're kind of like the elephant parade before the circus. Get everybody in line and get them all down there. And we're finding, and we knew this would be true, that everywhere we go, there are different critical, area priorities. It's different everywhere we go. There's a particular problem, whether it be water rights in California or jobs in Nevada, in Las Vegas, places like that. Everybody's got their own concern. And in these crowds, we find out that there's such a rainbow of political views that if you pick a hot button issue, no matter what it is, and threw it out there, you find people arguing all sides of that issue, and disagreeing on it. But we all come together and we all agree on one thing. The country and the Constitution that protects our right to hold and advocate those positions with as much passion as we can muster is under attack from within, and we're going to save it. If our elected representatives will not fulfill their oath to save, protect the Constitution, defend and protect the Constitution of the United States of America, then by God we will. I've been worried about this for a long time. I actually sat down about 2 years ago and I started to write a book. And the working title was "It's Not Right versus Left, It's Right versus Wrong." And by the time I finished the book, that title stayed the same, but I had to add a subtitle called "Exposing the Socialist Agenda," because that's where we're going. And the next step after a socialist agenda is perhaps maybe the National Socialist Party. We all know that's how that's spelled. That's spelled N-A-C-I. Now, this country is well protected from outside. We're protecting it from inside. We're watching the backs of the men and women in uniform who are protecting it from external threats.